Summit held by President Obama on August 8, 2013. In regard to government surveillance and the Internet in the wake of the Edward Snowden NSA incident. On February 4, 2014, Cook met with Abdullah Gül, the president of Turkey, in Ankara to discuss the company's involvement in the FATA project. In the first quarter of 2014, Apple reported sales of 51 million iPhones and 26 million iPads, becoming all-time quarterly sales records. It also experienced a significant year-over-year increase in Mac sales. This was contrasted with a significant drop in iPod sales. In May 2014, the company confirmed its intent to acquire Dr.Dre and Jimmy Iovini's audio company Beats Electronics, producer of the Beats by Dr.Dre line of headphones and speaker products, and operator of the music streaming service Beats Music, for $3 billion, and to sell their products through Apple's retail outlets and resellers. Iovini believed that Beats had always belonged with Apple, as the company modeled itself after Apple's unmatched ability to marry culture and technology. The acquisition was the largest purchase in Apple's history. Apple was at the top of Interbrand's annual Best Global Brands report for 6 consecutive years: 2013, 2014, 2015, 2016, 2017, and 2018, with a valuation of $214.48 billion. In January 2016, it was announced that 1 billion Apple devices were in active use worldwide. On May 12, 2016, Apple Incorporated invested $1 billion in Didi, a Chinese transportation network company. The information reported in October 2016 that Apple had taken a board seat in Didi Chuxing, a move that James Vincent of The Verge speculated could be a strategic company decision by Apple to get closer to the automobile industry. Particularly Didi Chuxing's reported interest in self-driving cars. On June 6, 2016, Fortune released Fortune 500, their list of companies ranked on revenue generation. In the trailing fiscal year, 2015, Apple appeared on the list as the top tech company. It ranked third, overall, with $233 billion in revenue. This represents a movement upward of 2 spots from the previous year's list. On April 6, 2017, Apple launched Clips, an app that allows iPad and iPhone users to make and edit short videos with text, graphics, and effects. The app provides a way to produce short videos to share with other users on the Messages app, Instagram, Facebook, and other social networks. Apple also introduced live titles for Clips that allows users to add live animated captions and titles using their voice. In May 2017, Apple refreshed 2 of its website designs. Their public relations Apple Press Info website was changed to an Apple Newsroom site, featuring a greater emphasis on imagery and therefore lower information density, and combines press releases, news items, and photos. Its Apple Leadership Overview of company executives was also refreshed, adding a simpler layout with a prominent header image and 2-column text fields. 9to5Mac noted the design similarities to several of Apple's redesigned apps in iOS 10, particularly its Apple Music and News software. In June 2017, Apple announced the HomePod, its smart speaker aimed to compete against Sonos, Google Home, and Amazon Echo. Towards the end of the year, TechCrunch reported that Apple was acquiring Shazam, a company specializing in music, TV, film, and advertising recognition. The acquisition was confirmed a few days later, reportedly costing Apple $400 million, with media reports noting that the purchase looked like a move by Apple to get data and tools to bolster its Apple Music streaming service. The purchase was approved by EU later in September 2018. Also in June 2017, Apple appointed Jamie Ehrlich and Zach Van Ambig to head the newly formed Worldwide Video Unit. In November 2017, Apple announced it was branching out into original scripted programming. A drama series starring Jennifer Aniston and Reese Witherspoon, and a reboot of the anthology series Amazing Stories with Steven Spielberg. In June 2018, Apple signed the Writers Guild of America's Minimum Basic Agreement and Oprah Winfrey to a multi-year content partnership. Additional partnerships for original series include Sesame Workshop and DHX Media and its subsidiary Peanuts Worldwide, as well as a partnership with A24 to create original films. As of January 2019, Apple has ordered 21 television series and 1 film. There are 5 series in development at Apple. On June 5, 2018, Apple deprecated OpenGL and OpenGL ES across all operating systems and urged developers to use Metal instead. In August 2018, Apple purchased Aconia Holographics for its augmented reality goggle lens. On February 14, 2019, Apple acquired Data Tiger for its digital marketing technology. On January 29, 2019, Apple reported its first decline in revenues and profits in a decade. In February 2019 they bought conversational computing company Pullstring, formerly Toy Talk, on July 25, 2019. Apple and Intel announced an agreement for Apple to acquire the smartphone modem business of Intel Mobile Communications for $1 billion. On March 30, 2020 Apple acquired local weather app maker Dark Sky, for an undisclosed sum, with the intent to discontinue its original app at the end of 2021. On April 3, 2020, Apple acquired Voices, a Dublin-based company focused on AI digital voice technology for an undisclosed sum. On May 14, 2020, Apple acquired NextVR, a virtual reality company, based in Newport Beach, California. Transition from Intel. Main article: Apple's transition to ARM processors. During its annual WWDC keynote speech on June 22, 2020, Apple announced it will transition away from Intel processors to processors developed in-house. The announcement was expected by industry analysts, and it has been noted that products featuring Apple's processors would allow for big increases in performance over current Intel-based Mac models. Products. See also, Timeline of Apple Incorporated products. Macintosh. Main article: Macintosh. See also, Timeline of Macintosh models, list of Macintosh models grouped by CPU type, and list of Macintosh models by case type. Macintosh is currently in production. Imac, consumer all-in-one desktop computer, introduced in 1998. Mac Mini, consumer sub-desktop computer, introduced in 2005. MacBook Pro, professional notebook, introduced in 2006. Mac Pro, workstation desktop computer, introduced in 2006. MacBook Air, consumer ultra-thin, ultra-portable notebook, introduced in 2008. Apple sells a variety of computer accessories for Macs, including Thunderbolt display, Magic Mouse, Magic Trackpad, Magic Keyboard, the Airport wireless networking products, and Time Capsule. iPod. Main article, iPod. From left to right, iPod Shuffle, iPod Nano, iPod Touch. On October 23, 2001, Apple introduced the iPod digital music player. Several updated models have since been introduced, and the iPod brand is now the market leader in portable music players by a significant margin. More than 390 million units have shipped as of September 2015. Apple has partnered with Nike to offer the Nike and iPod Sports Kit, enabling runners to synchronize and monitor their runs with iTunes and the Nike and website. In late July 2017, Apple discontinued its iPod Nano and iPod Shuffle models, leaving only the iPod Touch available for purchase. iPhone. Main article, iPhone. The first generation iPhone, 3G, 4, 5, 5C and 5s to scale. At the Macworld Conference and Expo in January 2007, Steve Jobs introduced the long-anticipated iPhone. A convergence of an internet-enabled smartphone and iPod. The first generation iPhone was released on June 29, 2007, for $499, 4GB, and $599, 8GB, with an AT&T contract. On February 5, 2008, it was updated to have 16GB of memory. In addition to the 8GB and 4GB models, it combined a 2.5G quad-band GSM and Edge cellular phone with features found in handheld devices. Running a scaled-down version of OS X, dubbed iPhone OS after the launch and later renamed to iOS, with various Mac OS X applications such as Safari and Mail. It also includes web-based and dashboard apps such as Google Maps and Weather. The iPhone features a 3.5-inch, 89mm, touchscreen display, Bluetooth, and Wi-Fi, both B and G. A second version, the iPhone 3G, was released on July 11, 2008, with a reduced price of $199 for the 8GB model and $299 for the 16GB model. This version added support for 3G networking and assisted GPS navigation. The flat silver back and large antenna square of the original model were eliminated in favor of a glossy, curved black or white back. Software capabilities were improved with the release of the App Store, which provided iPhone-compatible applications to download. On April 24, 2009, the App Store surpassed 1 billion downloads. On June 8, 2009, Apple announced the iPhone 3GS. It provided an incremental update to the device, including faster internal components, support for faster 3G speeds, video recording capability, and voice control. At the Worldwide Developers Conference, WWDC, on June 7, 2010, Apple announced the redesigned iPhone 4. It featured a 960x640 display, the Apple A4 processor, a gyroscope for enhanced gaming, a 5MP camera with LED flash, front-facing VGA camera and FaceTime video calling. Shortly after its release, reception issues were discovered by consumers, due to the stainless steel band around the edge of the device, which also serves as the phone's cellular signal and Wi-Fi antenna. The issue was corrected by a bumper case distributed by Apple for free to all owners for a few months. In June 2011, Apple overtook Nokia to become the world's biggest smartphone maker by volume. On October 4, 2011, Apple unveiled the iPhone 4s, which was first released on October 14, 2011. It features the Apple A5 processor and Siri voice assistant technology, the latter of which Apple had acquired in 2010 from SRI International Artificial Intelligence Center. It also features an updated 8MP camera with new optics. Apple began a new accessibility feature, made for iPhone hearing aids with the iPhone 4s. Made for iPhone hearing aids feature Live Listen. It can help the user hear a conversation in a noisy room or hear someone speaking across the room. Apple sold 4 million iPhone 4s phones in the first 3 days of availability. On September 12, 2012, Apple introduced the iPhone 5. It has a 4-inch display, 4G LTE connectivity, and the upgraded Apple A6 chip. Among several other improvements, 0.2 million iPhones were sold in the first 24 hours of pre-ordering and over 5 million handsets were sold in the first 3 days of its launch. Upon the launch of the iPhone 5s and iPhone 5C, Apple set a new record for first weekend smartphone sales by selling over 9 million devices in the first 3 days of its launch. The release of the iPhone 5s and 5C is the first time that Apple simultaneously launched 2 models. A patent filed in July 2013 revealed the development of a new iPhone battery system that uses location data in combination with data on the user's habits to moderate the handset's power settings. Accordingly, Apple is working towards a power management system that will provide features such as the ability of the iPhone to estimate the length of time a user will be away from a power source to modify energy usage and a detection function that adjusts the charging rate to best suit the type of power source that is being used. In a March 2014 interview, Apple designer Jonathan Ive used the iPhone as an example of Apple's ethos of creating high-quality, life-changing products. He explained that the phones are comparatively expensive due to the intensive effort that is used to make them. We don't take so long and make the way we make for fiscal reasons, quite the reverse. The body is made from a single piece of machined aluminum. The whole thing is polished first to a mirror finish and then is very finely textured, except for the Apple logo. The chamfer smoothed off edges are cut with diamond-tipped cutters. The cutters don't usually last very long, so we had to figure out a way of mass manufacturing long-lasting ones. The camera cover is sapphire crystal. Look at the details around the SIM card slot. It's extraordinary. On September 9, 2014, Apple introduced the iPhone 6, alongside the iPhone 6 Plus that both have screen sizes over 4 inches. 1 year later, Apple introduced the iPhone SIXS, and iPhone SIXS Plus, which introduced a new technology called 3D Touch, including an increase of the rear camera to 12 MP. and the FaceTime camera to 5MP. On March 21, 2016. Apple introduced the first-generation iPhone SE that has a 4-inch screen size last used with the 5s and has nearly the same internal hardware as the SiXS. In July 2016, Apple announced that 1 billion iPhones had been sold. On September 7, 2016, Apple introduced the iPhone 7 and the iPhone 7 Plus, which feature improved system and graphics performance, add water resistance, a new rear dual camera system on the 7 Plus model, and, controversially, remove the 3.5mm headphone jack. A gold iPhone 8 alongside a gold 8 Plus. On September 12, 2017, Apple introduced the iPhone 8 and iPhone 8 Plus, standing as evolutionary updates to its previous phones with a faster processor, improved display technology, upgraded camera systems and wireless charging. The company also announced iPhone X, which radically changes the hardware of the iPhone lineup, removing the home button in favor of facial recognition technology and featuring a near bezel-less design along with wireless charging. On September 12, 2018, Apple introduced the iPhone XS, iPhone XS Max and iPhone XR. The iPhone XS and iPhone XS Max features Super Retina displays, a faster and improved dual camera system that offers breakthrough photo and video features. The first 7nm chip in a smartphone, the A12 Bionic chip with next-generation neural engine, faster Face ID, wider stereo sound and introduces dual SIM to iPhone. The iPhone XR comes in an all-screen glass and aluminium design with the most advanced LCD in a smartphone, featuring a 6.1-inch liquid retina display. A12 Bionic chip with next-generation neural engine, the True Depth camera system, Face ID, and an advanced camera system that creates dramatic portraits using a single camera lens. On September 10, 2019, Apple introduced the iPhone 11, iPhone 11 Pro, and the iPhone 11 Pro Max. The iPhone 11 features the same liquid retina LCD display used in 2018's iPhone XR. Overall, the iPhone 11 retains the same glass and aluminum design as the iPhone XR while adding in new features such as the addition of an ultra-wide 12MP camera, a battery that lasts 1 hour longer than the iPhone XR, and an IP68 rating for water and dust resistance. The iPhone 11 Pro and iPhone 11 Pro Max feature an all-new textured matte glass and stainless steel design and a triple camera setup that included an ultra-wide, wide and telephoto camera. The iPhone 11 Pro series battery life is capable of lasting up to 5 hours more than the iPhone XS and XS Max. The iPhone 11 Pro and Pro Max also features a new Super Retina XDR OLED display that is capable of a screen brightness of 800 nits. All new iPhones announced at Apple's September 2019 feature an A13 Bionic chip with a third-generation neural engine, an Apple U1 chip, spatial audio playback, a low-light photo mode and an improved Face ID system. On April 15, 2020, Apple announced a new second-generation iPhone SE. It replicates the iPhone 8 design, has a 4.7-inch screen, sizable bezels on the top and bottom, and a home button with Touch ID. Yet, the 2020 iPhone SE features a A13 Bionic chip and a 12MP rear-wide camera, similarly to the iPhone 11 lineup. iPad. Main article, iPad. On January 27, 2010, Apple introduced their much-anticipated media tablet, the iPad. It offers multi-touch interaction with multimedia formats including newspapers, e-books, photos, videos, music, word processing documents, video games, and most existing iPhone apps using a 9.7-inch screen. It also includes a mobile version of Safari for web browsing, as well as access to the App Store, iTunes Library, iBookstore, Contacts, and Notes. Content is downloadable via Wi-Fi and optional 3G service or synced through the user's computer. AT&T was initially the sole U.S. provider of 3G wireless access for the iPad. iPad Air 2 in gold. On March 2, 2011, Apple introduced the iPad 2 with a faster processor and a camera on the front and back. It also added support for optional 3G service provided by Verizon in addition to AT&T. The availability of the iPad 2 was initially limited as a result of a devastating earthquake and tsunami in Japan in March 2011. The third-generation iPad was released on March 7, 2012, and marketed as the new iPad. It added LTE service from AT&T or Verizon, an upgraded A5X processor, and Retina display. The dimensions and form factor remained relatively unchanged, with the new iPad being a fraction thicker and heavier than the previous version and featuring minor positioning changes. The iPad Pro second generation. On October 23, 2012, Apple's fourth generation iPad came out, marketed as the iPad with Retina display. It added the upgraded A6X processor and replaced the traditional 30-pin dock connector with the all-digital Lightning connector. The iPad mini was also introduced. It featured a reduced 7.9-inch display and much of the same internal specifications as the iPad 2. On October 22, 2013, Apple introduced the iPad Air and the iPad mini with Retina display, both featuring a new 64-bit Apple A7 processor. The iPad Air 2 was unveiled on October 16, 2014. It added better graphics and central processing and a camera burst mode as well as minor updates. The iPad mini 3 was unveiled at the same time. Since its launch, iPad users have downloaded over 3 billion apps. The total number of App Store downloads, as of June 2015, is over 100 billion. On September 9, 2015, Apple announced the iPad Pro, an iPad with a 12.9-inch display that supports two new accessories, the Smart Keyboard and Apple Pencil. An updated iPad mini 4 was announced at the same time. A 9.7-inch iPad Pro was announced on March 21, 2016. On June 5, 2017, Apple announced a new iPad Pro with a 10.5-inch display to replace the 9.7-inch model and an updated 12.9-inch model. Apple Watch. Main article, Apple Watch. The Apple Watch quickly became the best-selling wearable device, with the shipment of 11.4 million smartwatches in the first half of 2015. According to analyst firm Canalys. The original Apple Watch smartwatch was announced by Tim Cook on September 9, 2014, being introduced as a product with health and fitness tracking. It was released on April 24, 2015. The second generation of Apple Watch, Apple Watch Series 2, was released in September 2016, featuring greater water resistance, a faster processor, and brighter display. It was also released alongside a cheaper Series 1. On September 12, 2017, Apple introduced the Apple Watch Series 3 featuring LTE cellular connectivity, giving the wearable independence from an iPhone except for the setup process. On September 12, 2018, Apple introduced the Apple Watch Series 4, featuring new display, electrocardiogram, and fall detection. On September 10, 2019, Apple introduced the Apple Watch Series 5, featuring a new magnetometer, a faster processor, and a new always-on display. The Series 4 was discontinued. Apple TV. Main article, Apple TV. At the 2007 Macworld Conference, Jobs demonstrated the Apple TV. Jobs accidentally referred to the device as iTV, its code name, while on stage. A set-top video device intended to bridge the sale of content from iTunes with high-definition televisions. The device, running a variant of Mac OS X, links up to a user's TV and syncs over the wireless or wired network with one computer's iTunes library and can stream content from an additional 4. The Apple TV originally incorporated a 40 GB hard drive for storage, included outputs for HDMI and component video, and played video at a maximum resolution of 720p. On May 30, 2007, a 160 GB hard disk drive was released alongside the existing 40 GB model. A software update released on January 15, 2008, allowed media to be purchased directly from the Apple TV. In September 2009, Apple discontinued the original 40 GB Apple TV but continued to produce and sell the 160 GB Apple TV. On September 1, 2010, Apple released a completely redesigned Apple TV running on an iOS variant and discontinued the older model, which ran on a Mac OS X variant. The new device is 1/4 the size, runs quieter, and replaces the need for a hard drive with media streaming from any iTunes library on the network along with 8 GB of flash memory to cache downloaded media. Like the iPad and the iPhone, Apple TV runs on an A4 processor. The memory included in the device is half of that in the iPhone 4 at 256 MB, the same as the iPad, iPhone 3GS, 3rd and 4th generation iPod Touch. It has HDMI out as the only video output source. Features include access to the iTunes Store to rent movies and TV shows. Purchasing has been discontinued. Streaming from internet video sources, including YouTube and Netflix. And media streaming from an iTunes library. Apple also reduced the price of the device to $99. A third generation of the device was introduced at an Apple event on March 7, 2012, with new features such as higher resolution, 1080p, and a new user interface. At the September 9, 2015, event, Apple unveiled an overhauled Apple TV, which now runs a subsequent variant of iOS called tvOS, and contains 32 GB or 64 GB of NAND flash to store games, programs, and to cache the current media playing. The release also coincided with the opening of a separate Apple TV App Store and a new Siri remote with a glass touchpad, gyroscope, and microphone. On December 12, 2016, Apple released a new iOS and tvOS media player app called TV to replace the existing Videos iOS application. At the September 12, 2017, event, Apple released a new 4K Apple TV with the same form factor as the 4th generation model. The 4K model is powered by the A10X SoC designed in-house that also powers their 2nd generation iPad Pro. The 4K model also has support for high dynamic range. On March 25, 2019, Apple announced Apple TV Plus, their upcoming over-the-top subscription video-on-demand web television service, will arrive fall 2019. TVN features exclusive original shows, movies, and documentaries. They also announced an update to the TV app with a new channels feature and that the TV app will expand to Mac OS, numerous smart television models, Roku devices, and Amazon Fire TV devices later in 2019. HomePod. Main article, HomePod. A white HomePod on display. Apple's first smart speaker, the HomePod was released on February 9, 2018, after being delayed from its initial December 2017 release. It features 7 tweeters in the base, a 4-inch woofer in the top, and 6 microphones for voice control and acoustic optimization. On September 12, 2018. Apple announced that HomePod is adding new features: search by lyrics, set multiple timers, make and receive phone calls, find my iPhone, Siri shortcuts and Siri languages. In 2019, Apple, Google, Amazon, and Zigbee Alliance announced a partnership to make smart home products work together. Software. Main articles, Mac OS, iOS, watchOS, and tvOS. Apple Worldwide Developers Conference is held annually by Apple to showcase its new software and technologies for software developers. Apple develops its own operating systems to run on its devices, including Mac OS for Mac personal computers, iOS for its iPhone, iPad, and iPod Touch smartphones and tablets, watchOS for its Apple Watch smartwatches, and tvOS for its Apple TV digital media player. For iOS and Mac OS, Apple also develops its own software titles, including Pages for writing, Numbers for spreadsheets, and Keynote for presentations, as part of its iWork productivity suite. For Mac OS, it also offers iMovie and Final Cut Pro X for video editing, and GarageBand and Logic Pro X for music creation. Apple's range of server software includes the operating system Mac OS Server, Apple Remote Desktop, a remote systems management application, and SAN, a storage area network file system. Apple also offers online services with iCloud, which provides cloud storage and synchronization for a wide range of user data, including documents, photos, music, device backups, and application data. And Apple Music, its music and video streaming service. Electric vehicles. Main article, Apple Electric Car Project. According to the Sydney Morning Herald, Apple wants to start producing an electric car with autonomous driving as soon as 2020. Apple has made efforts to recruit battery development engineers and other electric automobile engineers from A123 Systems, LG Chem, Samsung Electronics, Panasonic, Toshiba, Johnson Controls and Tesla Motors. Corporate identity. Logo. First Apple logo. 1976-77. First official logo. 1977-98. Second official logo. 1998-03. Current logo. Since 2003. See also, typography of Apple Inc. Apple logo redirects here. For the programming language, see Apple logo. According to Steve Jobs, the company's name was inspired by his visit to an apple farm while on a fruitarian diet. Jobs thought the name Apple was fun, spirited and not intimidating. Apple's first logo, designed by Ron Wayne, depicts Sir Isaac Newton sitting under an apple tree. It was almost immediately replaced by Rob Janoff's Rainbow Apple, the now familiar rainbow-colored silhouette of an apple with a bite taken out of it. Janoff presented Jobs with several different monochromatic themes for the bitten logo, and Jobs immediately took a liking to it. However, Jobs insisted that the logo be colorized to humanize the company. The logo was designed with a bite so that it would not be confused with a cherry. The colored stripes were conceived to make the logo more accessible, and to represent the fact the Apple II could generate graphics in color. This logo is often erroneously referred to as a tribute to Alan Turing, with the bite mark a reference to his method of suicide. Both Janoff and Apple deny any homage to Turing in the design of the logo. On August 27, 1999, the year following the introduction of the iMac G3, Apple officially dropped the rainbow scheme and began to use monochromatic logos nearly identical in shape to the previous rainbow incarnation. An aqua-themed version of the monochrome logo was used from 1998 to 2003, and a glass-themed version was used from 2007 to 2013. Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak were Beatles fans, but Apple Incorporated had name and logo trademark issues with Apple Corp. Limited, a multimedia company started by the Beatles in 1968. This resulted in a series of lawsuits and tension between the two companies. These issues ended with the settling of their lawsuit in 2007. Advertising. Main article, Apple Incorporated Advertising. Apple's first slogan, "Bite into an apple," was coined in the late 1970s. From 1997 to 2002, the slogan "Think Different" was used in advertising campaigns, and is still closely associated with Apple. Apple also has slogans for specific product lines. For example, "I think, therefore iMac" was used in 1998 to promote the iMac, and "Say hello to iPhone" has been used in iPhone advertisements. Hello was also used to introduce the original Macintosh, Newton, iMac, Hello, Again, and iPod. From the introduction of the Macintosh in 1984, with the 1984 Super Bowl advertisement to the more modern Get a Mac adverts, Apple has been recognized for its efforts towards effective advertising and marketing for its products. However, claims made by later campaigns were criticized, particularly the 2005 Power Mac ads. Apple's product advertisements gained a lot of attention as a result of their eye-popping graphics and catchy tunes. Musicians who benefited from an improved profile as a result of their songs being included on Apple advertisements include Canadian singer Feist with the song 1234 and Yael Naim with the song New Soul. Apple owns a YouTube channel where they release advertisements, tips, and introductions for their devices. Brand Semiotics. Semiotics is the study of how meaning is derived from symbols and signs and provides major insight for understanding brand management and brand loyalty. Ferdinand de Saussure, a Swiss linguist and semiotician, created a semiotic model that identifies two parts of a sign, the signified and signifier. The signifier is the perceptual component that we physically see, and the signified is then the concept which the sign refers to. In Saussure's model, the sign results from the recognition of a sound or object with a concept. In his model, the signified and signifier are as inseparable as two sides of a piece of paper. The second popular semiotic model that exists is the Peircean model. Charles Sanders Peirce was a logician. His model, like Saussure's model, involved the relationship between the elements of signs and objects. However, the Peircean model added that whoever is decoding the sign must have some previous understanding or knowledge about the transmitted message. Peirce's model can be represented using the three sides of triangle, the represent amen, the sign, an object, and the interpreton, the produced effect by the sign. The symbolic representation that a brand carries can affect how a consumer recalls, internalizes, and relates to the performance of a company. There is plenty of evidence to show that a company can easily fail if they do not keep track of how the brand changes with the media culture. Semiotic research can be used to help a company relate to their customers' culture over time and help their brand to stand out in competitive markets. The first two Apple logos are drastically different from each other. However, they both share the sign of an apple. In the original logo designed by Ronald Wayne, Sir Isaac Newton is seen sitting under the infamous apple tree about to bear fruit above, just before his discovery of gravity. Analysis of the semiotics with Saussure's model yields the signified, or sign, of the apple. The signifier represents discovery, innovation, and the notion of thought. It was quickly realized that the original logo was too complicated and intellectual for the needed purpose. The company's mission was, and still is, to simplify technology for the everyday life. A fun and clever logo that spoke to computer-savvy people was needed. In 1977, Rob Janoff created the iconic rainbow apple symbol that is still recognized today. The logo has double meaning and differs from the many serious corporate logos in existence at the time. Page needed. Apple Incorporated is well known for being an innovative company who challenged the status quo and established standards. Again, using Saussure's semiotic model, the signified is an apple, but with a bite taken out of it. Because Apple is seen as a challenger in the industry, the most common signifier is the forbidden fruit from the biblical reference, the Garden of Eden. The signified is the bite from the apple, and the represented signifier is the tree of knowledge. thus symbolizing Apple as a rebellious young company ready to challenge the world and the promise of knowledge that an entire culture of Apple users may gain from the product. The semiotics of the byte and the color of the logo can also be looked at from a technologic viewpoint. The byte is the signified and the computer storage unit, byte, is the signifier. The rainbow color of the logo portrays the message that its computer monitor could produce color images. Steve Jobs argued that color was crucial for humanizing the company at that time. The only thing to change with the logo since 1977 has been the color. In 1998, a monochromatic logo was implemented with the release of the first iMac. This is the first Mac to not have the iconic rainbow-colored apple since its creation 20 years prior. The new look represents a new era of Apple Inc. The logo's shape had become untouchable, and Apple's message is that it is better to be different. Brand loyalty. The scenes I witnessed at the opening of the new Apple Store in London's Covent Garden were more like an evangelical prayer meeting than a chance to buy a phone or a laptop. Alex Riley, writing for the BBC. Apple customers gained a reputation for devotion and loyalty early in the company's history. In 1984, Byte stated that there are two kinds of people in the world: people who say Apple isn't just a company, it's a cause, and people who say Apple isn't a cause, it's just a company. Both groups are right. Nature has suspended the principle of non-contradiction where Apple is concerned. Apple is more than just a company because its founding has some of the qualities of myth. Apple is two guys in a garage undertaking the mission of bringing computing power, once reserved for big corporations, to ordinary individuals with ordinary budgets. The company's growth from two guys to a billion-dollar corporation exemplifies the American dream. Even as a large corporation, Apple plays David to IBM's Goliath, and thus has the sympathetic role in that myth. Apple aficionados wait in line around an Apple store in Shanghai in anticipation of a new product. Apple evangelists were actively engaged by the company at one time, but this was after the phenomenon had already been firmly established. Apple evangelist Guy Kawasaki has called the brand fanaticism something that was stumbled upon. While I've explained in 2014 that people have an incredibly personal relationship with Apple's products, Apple Store openings and new product releases can draw crowds of hundreds, with some waiting in line as much as a day before the opening. The opening of New York City's Fifth Avenue Cube store in 2006 became the setting of a marriage proposal, and had visitors from Europe who flew in for the event. In June 2017, a newlywed couple took their wedding photos inside the then recently opened Orchard Road Apple Store in Singapore. The high level of brand loyalty has been criticized and ridiculed, applying the epithet Apple fanboy and mocking the lengthy lines before a product launch. An internal memo leaked in 2015 suggested the company planned to discourage long lines and direct customers to purchase its products on its website. Fortune magazine named Apple the most admired company in the United States in 2008, and in the world from 2008 to 2012. On September 30, 2013, Apple surpassed Coca-Cola to become the world's most valuable brand in the Omnicom Group's Best Global Brands report. Boston Consulting Group has ranked Apple as the world's most innovative brand every year since 2005. The New York Times in 1985 stated that Apple above all else is a marketing company. John Sculley agreed, telling the Guardian newspaper in 1997 that people talk about technology, but Apple was a marketing company. It was the marketing company of the decade. Research in 2002 by Netratings indicate that the average Apple consumer was usually more affluent and better educated than other PC company consumers. The research indicated that this correlation could stem from the fact that on average Apple Incorporated products were more expensive than other PC products. In response to a query about the devotion of loyal Apple consumers, Jonathan Ive responded,